This year marks the 101st anniversary of one of the most tragic events in the history of mankind. I'm talking, of course, about the Straw Hat Riots, which raged in New York City in 1922. To commemorate the brave men whose beloved straw hats were ripped from them and viciously smashed, here is a small collection of news coverage from those harrowing days, for the sake of posterity, lest we forget. Straw Hat Riots Embroil East Side. The New York Times, September 14, 1922. The inalienable right of a man to wear a straw hat in a snowstorm if he desires is to be upheld in this city by both police and the magistrates, and a warning was sent broadcast to all straw hat smashers last night that jail terms on assault charges awaited them if they started any such carnival today. On the theory that September 15th is the last day of the straw hat season, and that they had the right to declare open season on straw hats on other persons' heads, scores of rowdies on the east side and in other parts of the city started smashing hats last evening. There was danger of riots in 3 congested spots on the east side. Police reserves were called out, straw hat bonfires were started, and 7 men were convicted of disorderly conduct in the men's night court. In imposing fines of $5 each on the 7 men who were brought before him for the part they had taken in a hat-smashing saturnalia at Bowery and East Houston Street, Magistrate Peter A. Hatting said that the next men to come before him for breaking other persons' hats would go to jail. It is against the law to smash a man's hat, and he has a right to wear it in a January snowstorm if he wishes, declared Magistrate Hatting. To hit a man's hat is a simple assault, and in this court it will be treated as such, and I want you to spread this word among all who would smash hats. A man's hat is just as much his property and just as much to be defended as his watch, and the courts are going to enforce the laws. In the 1st Inspection District, which covers the Lower East Side, Inspector William A. Coleman told the patrolmen in all his stations to use a rigorous hand with all hat smashers, and to arrest rowdies wholesale if they made trouble. Boys scalp straw-hatted. East Side gangs compete in gathering trophies. The New York Times, September 15, 1922. The hat-smashing campaign was continued in the Lower East Side yesterday, despite the warning of the court. Although the season does not end officially until tonight, straw hats for some reason yet undiscovered, hundreds of boys in Grand, Mulberry, and adjacent streets, armed with long sticks to which were fixed long wires, hid in doorways and unhatted all who passed sporting straws. Like Indians after scalps, the boys picked up the broken hats and jammed them on their whip handles. Some had as many as 25 or 30. 2 of the victims were police department officials attacked as they were leaving police headquarters. A right worth defending. The New York Times, September 15, 1922. An unwritten or imaginary law decrees that from today onward till well along into next spring, no straw hats shall be worn, even though, as often happens, the weather should be of summer warmth during the rest of September and for much of October. The origin of this law is obscure. Certainly it is not based on American meteorology, but reflection justifies at least the suspicion that it originated in the dark machinations of the only class that has an interest in its perpetuation. Its enforcement is left to boys and others with undeveloped minds who delight in destruction for its own sake, especially when it is accompanied by noise and excitement and when it makes somebody else angry. Hence, the little hat-smashing riots that began on Wednesday continued yesterday, and will be repeated today unless the warnings of a well-deserved jail sentence that came from the congruously named Magistrate Hatting should have a deterring influence. He was quite right in saying that the law will protect any man in his right to wear a straw hat as long as and when he chooses, even though it be in a January snowstorm. That last is a privilege few value highly enough to fight, bleed, and die in defense of. But he whose preference as to head covering is coerced this month or next by rowdies or impudent jesters should do something pretty desperate about it. Fight if he can, and call the police if he can't. So, when September 15th comes and passes, I implore you all to wear your straw hats proudly and without shame, no matter the time, no matter the day, no matter the weather. Do not allow ruffians to suppress your right to wear whatever headwear you wish to don. Happy hatting to you all.